We will return to Mr. Smith for the next questions. What will you do as Attorney General in response to the federal health care bill?
You know, this is one of the biggest atrocities that we've ever seen the federal government attempt to impose. And I'm strongly opposed to it, and I believe that we should fight it as hard as we can, and the Attorney General should lead this fight. And here's why. There is nothing in Article 1 of the Constitution which authorizes the Congress to mandate that you buy health insurance or any other service. They simply do not have that power or that authority. And we need to take them to court and make them defend by what authority, and all of their authorities defined in Article 1, that they've imposed this mandate. Then if you don't buy the insurance, they issue a direct tax. Article 1, Section 9 specifically says you are not authorized to issue a direct tax or what's called a capitation. The reason why this is so important is it's the first time in the history of our nation when a tax has been levied that's not based on something you own, something you earn, or something you consume. This is a tax based on the fact that you exist. And if we allow Congress to tax us because we exist, to fund some federal program, they will never again respect any boundaries whatsoever. The 10th Amendment has meaning, and states are going to have to stand up and remind the federal government and the courts that their power is indeed limited.
And I too believe that the bill violates Article 1, Section 9. I also believe it violates the 5th Amendment to the Constitution. On December 23, when the Senate passed the bill, I asked Thurber to immediately start the research to prepare for suit. When the House passed the Senate version, I said, now you need to be ready to file the suit and join Florida. Of course, we know he had all the excuses in the world. I'm pleased that Frank Jones, who the governor chose to lead that litigation for us in Florida, has endorsed my candidacy. That assures we'll have a seamless transition January 10, fighting that lawsuit. I call it a living tax. It is the failure to buy something. It is the failure to buy something cannot be commerce by definition. So what you're being taxed on is for living, which has never before occurred, as Preston has stated. It is a suit on principle that we not only must fight, but we must win. If we do not win this suit, then the 10th Amendment really has no meaning. You know, you cannot have this fact pattern, and I'm thrilled that earlier today, the Virginia court upheld the right to that lawsuit, and it's moving forward.
You know, this ought to make you angry. When you hear people talk about this, they shouldn't be calm and detached and talking about like a professor in some academic setting. This is taking away our rights and the freedoms of future generations. It's something that ought to make you fighting mad. When you hear people talk about this, they ought to have a little fire in their belly, because we have got to lead on this fight. We have very little time to turn this ship around. And if we don't stand up and fight right now, we will lose the opportunity for generations to come of defining what it means to be a state and an individual citizen of this country. There is no way that we can sit back and calmly, in a detached way, talk about how this really shouldn't be. This is something that ought to make us fighting mad, because it is Congress overstepping their authority. And quite frankly, they have used the Commerce Clause and the General Welfare Clause to obliterate every other part of the Constitution. And it makes me sick to think that we have gotten so far away from the original founders' intent that we have to sit back and watch while Congress simply tells us how we should live without any constitutional authority whatsoever. This is a fight we got to win in the courts and have it remanded back to the Congress, where they no longer have the votes to do this to us.